Live from New Delhi, you're watching GD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, India's growth touches four-quarter high of 7.4% in the last quarter of financial year 25. Economy clocks 6.5% growth rate in real GDP for financial year 24-25. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says terrorists were brought down to their knees by Indian forces in a single decisive action. Says the world witnessed country's righteous anger against terrorism in the form of Op Sindoor. And Turkey proposes to host Trump-Putin-Zelenskyy summit. Moscow says it would send negotiators team to Istanbul for a second round of direct talks with Ukraine on Monday. Asia's premier defense summit, the Shangri-La dialogue, kicks off in Singapore. French President Emmanuel Macron delivers keynote address, calls for a new special relationship between EU and Indo-Pacific countries. Indian economy grew by 6.5% in real terms in the recently concluded financial year 2024-25, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation's official data showed on Friday. According to NSO's second advanced estimates, the country's economy was projected to grow at 6.5% in 24-25. The Reserve Bank of India had projected 6.5% GDP growth for the fiscal year 24-25. According to official data, the economy grew 8.7% and 7.2% respectively in 21-22 and 22-23. The Ministry of Finance, in a report in March 25, anticipated that Indian economy would achieve a growth rate of 6.5% in 2024-25. Despite considerable external headwinds. Well, India will boost manufacturing's GDP share from 15% to 25% by 2047. With a focus on ease of business, skilling, MSMEs, technology and quality, the mission aims to make India a global manufacturing powerhouse. A bold step towards that of $7.5 trillion vision. DD India's Taposh Bhattacharya has more in this report.
India is on a bold mission, realizing a $7.5 trillion manufacturing GDP by 2047. Despite strong government backing through initiatives like the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, skilling programs and major reforms in ease of doing business, manufacturing still contributes only around 15% to India's GDP. This is well below Asian peers like Vietnam, South Korea and Thailand. But that's about to change.
Last year, the Prime Minister had given a call for states to prepare their own visions. And the good thing is about 17 states are either completed or on the verge of completing their own vision document. As I speak, 3 are out, 5 more are going to be out this month, and umpteen more are going to come. And by end of the year, I think every state and unit territory will have a roadmap for itself. If you want to become a developed nation, given the population you'll have at that time, you'll be a $30 trillion economy. A $30 trillion economy, and our hope is manufacturing should be about 25% of that. That means about $7.5 trillion is the goal for manufacturing.
The Union Budget 2025 has introduced the National Manufacturing Mission, a game changer with a mission mode approach to accelerate growth, drive global competitiveness, and power India's industrial transformation.
When there is disruption, everybody is on the same footing. And when everybody is on the same footing, no incumbent has an advantage. So as a late entrant to the game, we can get into manufacturing big time. So it is in this context that the National Manufacturing Mission has been announced. There's a huge opportunity. There is a lot of issues, which need to be addressed. So we need a mission approach to break the gridlock and, kick Indian manufacturing to a higher level.
The entire ecosystem is aligned with clear roadmaps for New India's growth story. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri on Friday highlighted India's proactive approach in managing fuel prices at the CII Annual Business Summit. He stated that the government has lowered the oil cess twice to ease consumer costs. He also highlighted that India stands alone globally in reducing oil prices, defying international trends.
In the case of what I was referring to, that twice we reduced the cess in November 21 and May 2022, and state governments, I should have said, also reduced their VAT. And that's why we were able to reduce the price of petrol and diesel respectively by 13 rupees and 16 rupees a litre between those two reductions. India is the only country in the world where over a 3-year period, the price of petrol and diesel at the bunk, at the retail point, has actually come down. No, I told you, we are already buying $14 billion of energy from the US. It could go up.
And addressing the CII Business Summit in New Delhi on Friday, Niti Aayog CEO BVR Subramaniam stated that transforming the manufacturing sector is crucial for India to become a developed nation. He emphasized the need for India's manufacturing sector to grow at 15% annually to contribute 25% to the nation's GDP by 2047.
We need a manufacturing transformation which will take people out of agriculture, somewhere around 40-45% of population, move them to manufacturing, which means, that's why I mentioned the HR, the education transformation. These two are closely linked. So I think manufacturing transformation is essential for India to become Vikasit. And I think that's very, very, very key. Manufacturing sector should be growing around 15% at least. That's only way it can rise from its current share to 25% over a long term.
And speaking at an AI event in Delhi, India's Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Ashwini Vaishnav, on Friday announced that as part of India's AI mission, the country is developing a PhD program in AI to support and fund foundational research in the field.
We are working on another program for PhD program so that the foundational research, the basic research in AI can also be funded out of AI mission. And a large, running in millions, a large talent development program starting from the very basic to a really advanced level. तो ये complete ecosystem AI के AI mission के तहत किया जा रहा है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday, referring to the terror attack in Pahalgam, recalled the loss of innocent lives and his vow to retaliate. Addressing a rally in the eastern state of Bihar, Karakat, the Prime Minister Modi said that he had promised the country that terrorist camps would be destroyed and the terrorists will be punished beyond their imagination.
अभी पहलगाम में जम्मू कश्मीर में आतंकी हमला हुआ था. हमारे कितने निर्दोष नागरिक मारे गए. इस जघन्य आतंकी हमले के बाद, एक दिन के बाद मैं बिहार आया था और मैंने बिहार की धरती से देश को वादा किया था, वचन दिया था, बिहार की धरती पर आंख में आंख मिलाकर हमने कह दिया था, आतंक के आकाओं के ठिकानों को मिट्टी में मिला दिया जाएगा. बिहार की धरती पर मैंने कहा था, उन्हें कल्पना से भी बड़ी सजा होगी. आज जब मैं बिहार आया हूं तो अपने वचन पूरा करने के बाद आया हूं.
Dedicated to the nation, multiple development projects worth over $5.7 billion at Caracat. These projects will boost industrial growth, create job opportunities and provide affordable electricity in the region. Earlier, the Prime Minister was felicitated with a shawl painted with Madhubani art and a silver coin. Upon his arrival, the Prime Minister held a roadshow and greeted people at the public meeting in Bihar. And the Prime Minister's next stop was Uttar Pradesh's Kanpur, where he laid the foundation stone and inaugurated 15 mega development projects worth over 47,573 crore rupees, which is close to about $5.6 billion US, aimed at boosting the region's infrastructure and connectivity. He also flagged off Kanpur Metro's new corridor between Chunniganj and Nayaganj. The section of Kanpur Metro Rail project is worth over 2,120 crore rupees. The metro section includes 14 planned stations with 5 new underground stations integrating key city landmarks and commercial hubs into the metro network. Prime Minister Modi also distributed Ayushman cards to beneficiaries above the age of 70 years. Addressing the gathering in Kanpur, Prime Minister Modi said that the world witnessed the country's righteous anger against terrorism in the form of Operation Sindoor.
पहलगाम हमले के कारण मुझे अपना कानपुर दौरा रद्द करना पड़ा। पहलगाम के कायरना आतंकी हमले में हमारे कानपुर के बेटे शुभम द्विवेदी ने भी इस बर्बरता का वो शिकार हुए। बेटी ऐशन्या की वो पीड़ा, वो कष्ट और भीतर का आक्रोश हम सब महसूस कर सकते हैं। हमारी बहनों बेटियों का वही आक्रोश ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के रूप में पूरी दुनिया ने देखा है। हमने पाकिस्तान में आतंकियों के ठिकाने घर में घुसकर सैकड़ों मील अंदर जाकर तबाह कर दिए।
And Prime Minister Modi said that the game of state and non-state actors won't work anymore. He said that the enemies of the nation will be struck down in Kanpuriya style. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh aboard India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier INS Vikrant on Friday warned Pakistan of the Indian Navy's unmatched strength, stating that had the Navy joined its sister forces in active combat during Operation Sindoor, Pakistan would have faced a worse outcome than in 1971, surmising that it could have been divided into 4 parts. That's Pakistan could have been divided into 4 parts. The Defence Minister was speaking during his visit to INS Vikrant, which is currently deployed in the Arabian Sea, where he reviewed operational readiness and also praised the Navy's role in neutralizing threats during the operation. The Defence Minister interacted with Indian Navy personnel there. India's diplomatic outreach following Operation Sindoor continues with Indian MPs across party lines, underlining India's commitment to countering terrorism and deepening cooperation. An all-party Indian parliamentary delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha on Friday met with the chairman of the Nahdlatul Ulama Executive Board and Khalil, who is a committee member of the Nahdlatul Ulama in Indonesia, the world's largest Islamic organization, and sought their support against violence and religious extremism. The leader of the delegation urged NU leaders to support India and condemn cross-border terrorism to give a strong message to the world. And condemning terrorism and attack on innocent civilians, Ulil said that he felt the pain of India and called for India and Indonesia to walk hand in hand to promote peace and economic development. The delegation also paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi's statue at the Gandhi Memorial Intercontinental School in Jakarta on Friday. And the all-party delegation led by DMK MP Kanimoi, who is in Riga in Latvia, held meetings with the delegation from Latvia in the Latvian Saeima, or the parliament. The delegation from the Latvian side is being led by chairperson in the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Latvian parliament. And the other all-party delegation led by BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad on Friday we visited the Danish Parliament along with the Deputy Speaker and member of the Presidium of the Parliament, Lals Christian Brask. The leaders met to discuss terrorism and bilateral relations. The meetings included Christian Friis Bach, the chairperson of the Danish Parliament's Foreign Policy Committee, and the Danish MP Trine Pertou Mach. Addressing media, Ravi Shankar Prasad appreciated that Denmark was the first country to express solidarity with India. And still to come up on this edition of DD India Live, Turkey proposes to host Trump-Putin-Zelenskyy summit in Istanbul. India and the European Union to hold joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Amritpal Singh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday held an emotional meeting with the family of Shubham Dwivedi, a 31-year-old businessman who was among those who were killed in the April 22nd terror attack in Pahalgam. Prime Minister Modi, while meeting Shubham's family at the Kanpur airport, offered his condolences and assured full government support. French President Emmanuel Macron on Friday called for building of new coalitions between European and Asian countries to help reset a new rules-based global order amid an increasing risk of nuclear proliferation and growing divisions between US and China. The French president was delivering the keynote address at Asia's premier defense summit, Shangri-La dialogue, which kick-started today. The dialogue aims to bring together defense ministers, military leaders and senior defense officials around the world, as well as business leaders and security experts from different parts of the world, Asia Pacific, Europe, North America and beyond, to discuss critical security challenges. And India's Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan interacted with Charles Fries, who's the Deputy Secretary General for Peace, Security and Defence of the European External Action Service of the EU, on the sidelines of the Shangri-La dialogue. Discussions between both leaders were centered on the future roadmap on regional security, particularly in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack and India's standpoint on Operation Sindoor. Both leaders exchanged views on bilateral defense cooperation, including maritime security, cyber warfare, military training and crisis management. Turkey on Friday proposed hosting a summit with the leaders of Russia, Ukraine and the United States as it strives to broker an elusive deal to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Turkey's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, who visited Kyiv on Friday, said that his country sincerely thinks that it is possible to cap the first and the second direct Istanbul talks with a meeting between Trump, Putin and Zelenskyy. Fidan met with Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiga in Kyiv earlier this week. He had held talks with Vladimir Putin in Moscow. The Kremlin repeated on Friday that it would hand over its version of the talks on Monday, but Kyiv is pressurizing Moscow to send a copy in advance.
We believe that it is possible to hold the next round of meetings based on the decision of principle taken by the parties in Istanbul. Therefore, I want to express once again here in your presence that we are ready to host the subsequent talks. And we are interested in establishing a ceasefire, whether it is for 30 days, 50 days or 100 days. Ukraine is open to discussing this directly with Russia. We confirmed this during the last meeting of our delegations with the Russian side.
And moving on to West Asia now. A U.S. plan for Gaza proposes a 60-day ceasefire and the release of 28 Israeli hostages, alive or dead, in the first week, in exchange for the release of 1,236 Palestinian prisoners and the remains of 180 dead Palestinians. The document, which says that the plan is guaranteed by U.S. President Donald Trump and mediators Egypt and Qatar, includes sending humanitarian aid to Gaza as soon as the Hamas signs off on the ceasefire agreement. The aid will be delivered by the United Nations, the Red Crescent and other agreed channels. As per Israeli media, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the families of hostages held in Gaza that Israel had accepted a deal presented by the U.S. President's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff.
I can confirm that Special Envoy Witkoff and the President submitted a ceasefire proposal to Hamas that Israel backed and supported. Israel signed off on this proposal before it was sent to Hamas. I can also confirm that those discussions are continuing, and we hope that a ceasefire in Gaza will take place so we can return all of the hostages home, and that's been a priority from this administration from the beginning. I won't comment further as we are in the midst of this right now.
Israel has insisted that Hamas disarm completely and be dismantled as a military and governing force, and that all 58 hostages still held in Gaza must be returned before it will agree to end the conflict. Hamas has rejected the demand to give up its weapons and says Israel must pull its troops out of Gaza and commit to ending the conflict. Reflecting the growing maritime security cooperation between India and the European Union, the two sides will conduct a joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean from 1st of June to 3rd of June. The exercise will focus on advanced counter-piracy operations, interoperability, tactical maneuvers and enhanced communication protocols.
In a significant step towards enhanced maritime collaboration, India and the European Union will hold a joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean. The exercise will feature ships from the Indian Navy and 2 frigates from the European Union Naval Force Operation Atalanta. The participating EU ships, the Italian frigate Antonio Marseglia and the Spanish frigate Reina Sofia, are currently docked at Mumbai. The joint exercise will be coordinated by the respective maritime operation centers. Rear Admiral David D'Apozzo, Force Commander of the UNIFOR Atlanta, and Hervé Delphin, the Ambassador of the European Union to India, elaborated on the significance of the exercise and the broader EU-India cooperation.
It's the first time that Atalanta units are mooring in Mumbai. We have 2 ships here, so it's a big event in enhancing our cooperation and coordination with the Indian Navy. We share the same values, we share the same goals, which are maritime security in the Indian Ocean, so we are really committed to increase cooperation and coordination, and this exercise will help us in doing this.
I think it stems simply from the recognition of how much our interests intersect in ensuring maritime security. For a very simple reason, I think in the Indo-Pacific, we both see the importance of maintaining free and open and rule-based Indian Ocean access and in the Indo-Pacific access. This is in our economic interest and in our security interest.
Hervé Delphin, the ambassador of the European Union to India, also reaffirmed EU's strong commitment to combating terrorism. He emphasized that the European Union's recognition of India's right to defend itself and protect its citizens. He noted that Operation Sindoor was a response to the Pahalgam terror attack.
As a strong partner of India, we of course always been standing in contact with India. We made our position very clear, condemning the attack, recognizing the right of India to defend and protect its citizens in such situations.
India and the European Union are steadily enhancing cooperation on maritime security. Both sides share a deep commitment to a free, open, inclusive and rules-based maritime order in the Indo-Pacific region. Sharma Mishra's report for DD India in Mumbai.
The revered holy relics of Lord Buddha will return to India on Monday by an Indian Air Force aircraft and will be received at Palam Air Force Station by officials and senior monks. The relics are escorted by Government of India delegation led by Odisha Governor Dr. Hari Babu. Originally set to end on the May 21st, the exposition was extended to June 2nd at the Vietnamese government's request due to overwhelming public reverence, drawing over 15 million devotees across 9 cities. After arriving in Delhi, the relics will be displayed at the National Museum on the 3rd of June, followed by a prayer meeting with senior monks, the IBC Secretary General and diplomats. The next day, they will depart in a presidential cavalcade to Sarnath via Varanasi, where they will be enshrined in the Mulaganda Kuti Vihar, concluding a historic pilgrimage that reaffirmed Buddha's message of peace and compassion. And that's all in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR codes you see on your screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amrit Pal Singh from my entire team here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live. Bye-bye.